your team travels to Newman Friday to face a 4-1 Orestimba team. What's been the focus at practice this week in preparation for your WAC season opener?
Well, the focus has been kind of a little bit different coming off of a preseason that we've had. The main thing that the kids understand is that we're all starting at 0-0, entering league play, and we have another season to deal with, and we're talking about the league season. So, our focus has been, making the adjustments that we need to make to rectify our 2-3 record into a positive league record, and to take care of business on Friday. So, we're looking at the personnel that Orestimba has, looking at our matchups versus that offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game and that type of thing. So, I believe we're taking care of business. I know the rain took us for a little bit of a hit, but if it didn't take anybody for a hit in the section, then so be it. I think the whole state was covered in water, so they're all in the same boat. We all took a hit yesterday in terms of practice time and that kind of thing. So we're going to get back on the field today and start working some of these kinks out and get ready for Friday.
You talked to me about how the WAC all around is a stronger league this season. What do you know about Orestimba, who obviously have gotten off to that strong start that they've gotten off to?
Yeah, the WAC is, it looks a lot stronger than it has in the past. We're actually down with, just us and Gustine are down at the bottom with losing records. So it's a little bit different spot for us. Livingston and Orestimba are playing well. I know personnel-wise, they don't have a whole lot of depth, so they have a lot of guys going both ways. They've got some athletic guys and some key spots for them that they're going to try and take advantage with in terms of quarterback to receiver and the tailback type of guys. They got guys that if they can turn a corner and break one, they'll break one. They have a 4-1 record right now that you look at it and you may think they're rolling pretty well, and but they've had their struggles. That 4-1 hasn't come easy for them. They still have given up more points than they've scored, but that's probably more accustomed to and accounted to their first game of the year versus Modesto Christian. So they know how to to win the close games. They had a close one with Mariposa. They're coming off of they got that 3-game win streak going now, so they've got major momentum and confidence going. I take the back 4-game win streak, so they've got the confidence going for them. And as they enter league play, at 4-1, they're ahead of us in the standings and the overall standings, that type of thing. They're going to be that confident team that if we enter the game and give them any kind of little chance of momentum to get this thing going, they're going to take advantage of it. So we need to make sure we come out ready to go and take care of business from the very beginning.
One of the things that we talked about in the preseason as a strength of this Patterson High team was the leadership qualities that some of these players continue to display. How have these players, these leaders, how have they helped the younger players so far this season, and especially in overcoming some of this early season adversity? Yeah,
it's helped a lot. If this was any other team, we would be talking major implosion and guys being on the team and being a cancer to the team and that type of thing with our players, and that in no way has happened. This is probably, this is the last time we were 2-3 was in 2004, and 2004 and 2003, and this team is by far, above and beyond in terms of leadership capabilities. It's the most upbeat 2-3 team I've ever seen in my life. They understand that they've had a tough schedule. They've had some injuries. We're probably not adjusting as well as we should be, and that's probably more accustomed to the 2-3 record than it is anything else. It's not that we don't have the players and we don't have the leadership. It's just more of a fact that it's that game time adjustment, in-game adjustment type of thing that they're not accustomed to at this level, because we still have some young guys that are in some critical spots for us, and then we also have on the coaching staff too, we want to make sure we get those things tightened up in terms of our in-game adjustments. We have to get better at that. 2-3 does not rest solely on the players. And by any means, I take complete responsibility for any record that we have. It's my program, it's my staff that I coordinate and that type of thing. So it all rests with me, and we understand it as a staff. The stuff that we need to fix. the players understand it. The players understand they can be playing better too. So it's a good thing when you have like the leadership capabilities that we have now, because it's all helping in a positive way with this 2-3 record and entering league kind of like limping in a little bit. Any other team that we've had, I'll tell you right now, even you can go back to the 11 win team in 2007. This team has a lot of leadership, and if we entered, that team would have came in at 2-3, things would have started happening, within themselves that wouldn't have allowed us to get any further and enter league on a positive note, or start rolling in a positive note. So I'm excited that we have this leadership capabilities on our team, because that's what's pulling us through right now.
Talk about how you approach the WAC season now that the non-league season is behind you.
Well, we always take one thing, every game, one game at a time. Every week, it's Friday. That next Friday is what's on your mind. It's hard to not look at our schedule, our WAC schedule, and see where we're loaded at the end and the beginning, that type of thing. We have a situation where we traditionally have had an easier type of game in the early part of the season with Orestimba, and Livingston. I don't see those being as easy as we've had them in the past before. We still go up, every week and expect them to win. But you have to look towards the end of the end of the season and see that you have Central and Hillmar at the end of the WAC season, right before you enter playoffs. So when we make playoffs and move on through, we're starting playoffs in week number 9. Number 9 for us that's the gauntlet that we're going to have to run. You get to go through Central, you got to go through Hillmar, and then whoever you got in playoffs. So it's a very, very difficult situation at the end of the year. So we have to make sure that we take care of business on Friday nights in the first couple of games. And at the same time, we need to get better at all facets of the game, and our conditioning to make that run at the end, because it's going to be a tough road. There's no doubt about it. Our schedule doesn't lend itself to have, some of the other leagues may have, and other teams may have the last game of the year as a mean nothing type of game. Ours, you can look at our schedule and say that's not going to happen. So every game is important, but you can see where some of the bigger ones lie, in terms of our schedule. And so we need to make sure we keep that in mind and keep it in the back of our heads a little bit, so that way we're not surprised at the end and, we forgot to work on this in the last 3 weeks, or that type of thing. We want to make sure we have everything going in the way we want it to be, so that way when it comes time for the big grand stage and the big games, we're ready to go.